Good morning, Liz.
Hey, good morning, Daniel. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Awesome. I let you in before everybody else just to make sure that we've got everything set up. I'm going to make you a co-host.
Okay, great.
Can you share your screen okay?
Let's see. I will make sure.
All right.
I think so. Okay,
Awesome.
great. Thanks.
Any other technical questions or logistical questions before we get started?
I think my only request would be that when I do the demo, if you could just pause recording for that, because Unitas is like, well, our software gets updates so frequently that we ask people not to record the demo so that people don't see outdated information.
Gotcha. Okay. Sure thing. We can do that.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and start letting folks in, okay?
Sounds great.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Daniel.
Hey, Kay. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We're really excited to have you all here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. We're a couple minutes after 9 o'clock, and we might have a few others joining us, but I want to be respectful of your time today. We're very excited to have a guest speaker with us today. I do need to update our agenda. One of our guest speakers will not be able to join us. Dr. Mary Sedgwick had a personal situation come up that unfortunately is preventing her from being able to join us this morning, but we do hope to have her return for a future program later this year. And that means that we have more time with our partners at Unite Us, with Liz Walsh, who's with us this morning. But before we get to that part of the program, I'd just like to take a minute to acknowledge some of the new members of the Palmetto Vision Alliance. We have Miracles in Sight, the South Carolina Department on Aging, the South Carolina Free Clinic Association, and some new contacts at the Storm Eye Institute. There's been some personnel changes there that are all joining us as new members and new connections for us. And we really appreciate everyone from those organizations being a part of this alliance and helping us to further advance resources for the blind and visually impaired all across our state. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll have some time during introductions after the speaker this morning to dive a little bit deeper into some of those new member welcomes, and we'll get to hopefully hear from everybody on how things are going at your organization in this new year. So with that, I would like to take a moment to introduce Liz Walsh, who is the State Network Director for Unite Us, South Carolina. We at Lions Vision Services have recently begun the process of onboarding with the Unite Us platform, and through those conversations with Liz and seeing what their platform can do, it struck me as a really exciting opportunity to introduce Unite Us to our coalition here. And I know that just looking at some of the current names of the Unite Us network, this will be refreshing information for some of you, because some of you are already members of Unite Us, but I thought this was a really exciting resource as we're thinking about how we can collaborate and better coordinate, especially client referrals from one organization to another. I really think that this can be an invaluable tool for all of our organizations. So I'm going to pause recording during the Unite Us presentation. They frequently have updates, and so we don't want to put outdated information out when we share this recording with our members after the fact. So during the recording, I will pause, but Liz is going to walk through an overview of the platform, and then there will be a lot of time for discussion and question and answers at the end, especially since we just have the one speaker this morning. So with that, I will pause recording. And
Liz, I have a quick question. Just, once you're using this, is there a way, and I can't tell, once you've entered a new client, and you've saved that information, for instance, the doctor's office may have referred them with their office notes, and you enter the client and started the process, and then you get the application back, and the doctor's office did not spell the person's name right. So now you've got the name spelled wrong. Can we edit the names and the spellings and things? I've not been able to find that. Maybe I'm just not looking hard enough.
Yes, you've got it. So I will actually go in and show that as well. I'll show it from Harvest Hope. Let's see. So you can go back in and edit that if you click on the client profile and then click edit. And I X'd out of my screen, so that's why I'm just taking a moment here. So thanks for your patience. All right, awesome.
I guess I'm missing the edit button, maybe.
So you can go in and click on Sandy, and then under this profile tab, I have the opportunity to edit there. Yeah, and specifically under personal information, I could edit her first, last name.
Thank you.
Y'all are seeing my screen, right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if it's showing, it doesn't have the green box. Great. All right, so if there are no other questions, I'm just going to show this last slide and then I will be out of y'all's way for the rest of this morning.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you have any state agency clients?
Not as of right now. We've had really productive conversations across several different departments because they are looking for an easier way to connect with community-based organizations. I will say we started this work in June 2021 in South Carolina to build the community-based organization side of the network. And so we know that it does take time for state agencies to partner, right? Because they have lots of staff, they have lots of compliance measures and procurement and pieces and parts that they have to work through. So I do anticipate that we will have some join. I just think it'll take a little bit of time to get them on.
Would it be appropriate? Which state agencies are you thinking about or working with? Just can you share?
That is under our sales team, so unfortunately I can't share. Yeah. But we do have some really exciting next steps. So if your organization has not already joined the network and you'd like to, your next step is to complete a partner registration form, which I can send out for Daniel to share with the full alliance after today. After you complete that, we can actually sit down with you and see how this will work with your current workflows. We can do a private training for your organization for the software, or you can attend one of our regularly scheduled trainings. And we do have a network advisory board. We're going to have one per region. So we have the Midlands, the Low Country, and the Upstate. We also will have a statewide network advisory board. So if you want to inform the network and its growth and its experience for other organizations, please do let me know. We'll be having some interest meetings and then actually advisory board meetings coming up over the next few months. Awesome. So I will go ahead and send the link to the partner registration form and to each of my team members' calendars based on region so that you can book time with them. If you have further questions, I'll send mine too if you want to book time with me. And we can get the ball rolling in case you'd like to join Unite South Carolina.
Wonderful. Liz, thank you so very much for taking time with us this morning to introduce Unite Us to our coalition. We really appreciate your time and your insight. And thank you all for asking some really good questions. I hope that you were able to capture that contact information there on that last slide. We'll send that out with you as well. Oh, perfect. And Liz has her email in the chat. So please do follow up, and we hope to see all of our coalition members on the Unite Us platform soon. We're really excited about that. And again, just thank you, Liz. You're welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting if you would like to, Liz, but if you've got other things that you need to do, feel free to sign off at any point. Thank you again for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Daniel, and thank you all so much for your time. Have a good day.
Awesome.
Bye.
Along those lines, I'll go a little bit out of order on our new business here. I mentioned Dr. Mary Sedgwick is unable to speak with us today, and she will hopefully be able to come back to us at a later time slot this year. But I wanted to look quickly at our 2022 meetings. We've got those meetings confirmed. Thank you for filling out those surveys to help us identify the best times that work for our group. And right now, we are hoping to have a representative from Coastal Community Foundation of South Carolina at our next meeting in June. They have a really great overview of the results-based accountability framework, which is an excellent reporting and measurement tactic that we have found really useful and that they have been working through with their other grantees. So some of you that are already receiving grant funding from them might already be familiar with that and might be using that. But that conversation, I'm sure, will also transition to funding through Coastal Community Foundation and funding opportunities there. So that's a tentative speaker for our June meeting. And we're looking for another foundation perspective to talk specifically about funding at our August session. We're hoping to get a larger regional funder, perhaps someone from the Leon Levine Foundation or the Duke Endowment or one of the bigger regional partners, philanthropic partners in the area, to potentially speak at the August session, just to talk about what they look for, to talk about success stories that they've had. I know that funding is a frequent and recurring question for all of us as we try to expand our work. So know that we're trying to get speakers on those topics for you. October is totally up in the air right now. Have no clue what October looks like, but that might be a great time for Dr. Sedgwick to rejoin us. And I would love to hear from you all. Are there other topics? Are there other speakers that you would like to see at this table this year?
Daniel, I think it would be great to hear, are there any I mean, obviously I know there are, but I don't know who the group would like to select. But any, as we were saying, hearing from the disability community themselves, of people with visual disabilities, are there any, obviously I know about the Federation of the Blind and the Commission for the Blind, but are there any groups within them that are like self-advocacy groups that may want to come and share their thoughts? And they may have some within those groups. But I'm thinking to hear from the members that we serve, it's really important and vital piece. And they may be able to come and share their thoughts and, you know, things that they've learned through their work as well that would be important to be integrating, or wants or needs or things that they're seeing as trends within that community.
Yeah, absolutely, Dory. Yeah, thank you for that suggestion. Dr. Sedgwick is blind and visually impaired herself, which was one of the reasons that we wanted her to be on the call today. So I'm hoping that, you know, when we can get her back, that will speak to getting engagement and support from that group. And I can look into the self-advocacy groups specifically. I think those are excellent ways to find people to share their insights and share their experiences. And we certainly want this to be a place where people can do that. So I will look into those self-advocacy groups and know that we are trying to get Dr. Sedgwick back as soon as she's able.
Carol dropped off, but I'd be interested in here because they always get new services with assistive technology. And I'd be really interested in hearing a presentation. And then also I would like to hear from Dory and Julia and Cindy, like a group about the SILs together and kind of how they're different and how they operate. And because I've heard kind of independently, but I've never heard from them, you know, together. And I would love to hear from the three of them together, like on a panel kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any other suggestions or leads, both topically speaking on subject matter that y'all would like to see discussed here, as well as other specific speakers?
I don't know here, sorry, it's my first meeting in here. I have like all these questions. But something with Paola's group, and it would be wonderful to have something. Would you guys have an interest in an interest in grant writing? Because that's something that at the Department on Aging, and I know with the Rural Health Outcomes, to help smaller nonprofits with grant writing. And we were talking about putting together like a panel of very experienced grant writers to help the smaller fish. And Daniel, to answer your question, Cindy Azik and Dory can correct me if I'm mispronouncing Cindy's name. She's the head of Walton Options, which is one of the 3 CILs in South Carolina. Able SC is by far the largest one. And Cindy, CYNDYANZ, I can send you her contact information. Oh, Dory, please help. and Julie, and she covers kind of Aiken,
They
up
cover
in there.
8 counties in the Low Country, and then Accessibility, who is overseen by Julia Martinelli, is their executive director, and they facilitate 5-6 counties in the Dorchester, Berkeley, Charleston area.
Right, they're in Trident. But in aging services, we call that Trident, or I think maybe somebody mentioned Tri-County. I think it's all the same. I think it's all the same thing. But Dory, I would love to hear, because I've heard Julia speak. When Jennifer Van Cleve was here, I had heard you speak. I have heard Cindy speak. And I would love for you all to speak together and hear you guys talk about the differences between, so how we could be better partners.
That'd be awesome. Love to do that. I think we all have the same 5 basic core services. We're allowed to deliver them in any way that we want. So just so that's clear, we do have the same 5 basic core services as assigned by the federal government, and then we can do any additional that we want, and how we carry out those 5 basic core services can look the way we want. Not we as individuals, but we as organizations that are centers for independent living. The people say some of them are different and some of them are the same. They're just carried out differently, depending on where you live and who's working there, and your clientele in your region. No, but I'd love to do that. If you need their contact information, Daniel, just let me know, and I can get that to you. We love to work together, because when we collaborate, it only makes everything better for everyone in South Carolina.
Absolutely. Please do send me that information. And we have not done a panel conversation yet, I don't believe. So that would be, I think, an exciting way to bring that group together for, sounds like a very good conversation. All right. Well, as you think about other topics or other needs that you have that you would like us to address through speakers at these sessions, this is your time that you're giving to us once a quarter. So we want this to be meaningful and valuable for you all. So thank you for those suggestions, and please keep them coming throughout the year. We don't have to wait till our next meeting if you have other suggestions or other ideas. We want this to be a dynamic process that keeps on going. Just to provide a quick update on committee reports, the Advocacy Committee met on February the 10th and had a really productive conversation. And rather than diving into the logistics and specifics of starting to set an advocacy agenda, the group's consensus was that we need to take some time this year to have some listening sessions and do a listening tour around the state to get feedback from people in the blind and visually impaired community and in the various networks throughout the organizations that are represented in this coalition to get input on what that advocacy agenda should include. There are certainly some broad philosophies that we can include in that advocacy agenda, but especially when we think about specific legislative priorities, we really need those to be informed by the people that we're serving and ultimately the people that are being most impacted by those legislative decisions. So we are in the process of putting together what that listening tour will look like. And stay tuned in the second half of this year for that to get underway with a combination of virtual and perhaps in some areas a few in-person options. But I think we're going to continue taking advantage of the online platform and the accessibility of Zoom and really use that to help get input and begin 2023 with that information so that we can craft a more formalized advocacy agenda for the coalition. As of right now, due to some scheduling conflicts, the other committees have not been able to meet yet, but we are especially interested to get the strategic plan committee up and going so that we can really provide some guidance and some specific direction for where this group is going. This coalition came out of an awareness that there was no single way for all of us to come together on the same platform and communicate and coordinate, but we need some more specific guidance for how we go from having those lines of communication open now to how we can really work more effectively together to move the needle for vision and eye healthcare throughout South Carolina. So stay tuned for more information on those fronts as we move through the rest of this year. I'm very excited as well on our next point here to share that we have received funding from the Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina Foundation to create a website for the Palmetto Vision Alliance. We're excited that they have entered into a 3-year commitment for us to invest in website development and in the strategic planning process for this coalition. And we have a $10,000 a year commitment for 3 years from them for the Palmetto Vision Alliance to help us really get some traction here. So we're very excited about that. We're have to say a big thank you to Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina Foundation for making that investment. And we're excited too that is part of a joint proposal that came out of Lions Vision Services, the Free Clinic Association, the Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired South Carolina, Servants for Sight. And so we've really got this group here that we're excited to be working together. Always excited to have those proposals funded. So we're really looking forward to being able to implement and execute that over the next 3 years, and are glad that the Palmetto Vision Alliance is a part of that. So those are the new business items that we have here. And at this point, I would love to open it up. I mentioned we've got a few new members. We've got Miracles in Sight. I don't see Ingrid, or I don't see them on this call. I was hoping that Ingrid might be here because I know they do have an iBank bill that is in the Senate Medical Affairs Committee right now that would prohibit for-profit eye banks from operating in South Carolina and really ensure that when eye tissue is being donated, that it stays in the communities in which it is donated. When you have for-profit eye banks come in, they take that tissue that might be donated in South Carolina and they might use it in Boston, Massachusetts, or somewhere else. And there's also a lot of international agreements on how donated organ tissue is supposed to be procured and used, and for-profit eye banks, it's a little questionable if they are operating in consistency with those international standards. So Ingrid does a much better job explaining that. They're the leaders and champions for this bill that would protect South Carolina's nonprofit eye banks and help ensure that eye tissue donated in South Carolina remains in South Carolina, and that our nonprofit eye banks keep serving our state. So we're excited to have them on board. I know that Kay is here from the South Carolina Department on Aging. Kay, would you like to say any words by means of introduction?
No, just thank you, Daniel, for inviting me and letting me participate. Again, I'm Kay Hightower, and I'm the Senior Consultant for Outreach and Partnership Building at the South Carolina Department on Aging. So I'm really happy to be here. And I'm also the mother of a 21-year-old who is legally blind. So I have had to do, benefited from a lot of the services of your various partners. So I'm really, really happy to be here. So thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Well, we are happy that you are here too, and thank you for jumping right in and being so involved in conversation today. We really appreciate that, and it makes these meetings more engaging and hopefully productive as well. I see that we've got Virginia Ann Mulliken on the phone as well from the South Carolina Free Clinic Association. We're really excited that they're members. Virginia Ann, did you have anything that you'd like to say to the group? All right, I know that she's joining by phone today and may not be able to come off of mute there, but again, thank you to all of our new members for joining. And at this point, I'd love to open it up for discussion by the whole group to talk about what your needs are right now, to talk about what resources you need, any upcoming events, anything you'd like to share from your organization. We can just move around the circle here. If you've got something and you're ready to go, Dory, I see your hand up. So would you like to go first?
Yeah, I wanted to tell you two things, Daniel. I put everybody's that you asked me for from the other two centers, their email addresses in the chat box. And then I put the next event I'm going to talk about in the chat box as well. So if you wanted to attach it to your notes, you could. On April 13th, 2022 is Advocacy Day for Access and Independence. It's where a majority of the disability organizations in South Carolina come together to unlock barriers for people with disabilities, including the Commission for the Blind, all of the major disability organizations. We did a statewide survey of people with disabilities in all categories of disabilities about what the top barriers for South Carolinians with disabilities are. And they are employment, transportation, housing, lack of ADA coordinators in state agencies, and community access. We will all be coming together. There are going to be guest speakers from the legislature. There are going to be national folks speaking, and there will be individuals with disabilities in our communities presenting about how those barriers impact them and what needs to be done, not just by lawmakers, but all of our allies and partner organizations, whether you formally serve people with disabilities, because everybody does, you serve everyone, and how you can be a part of that. It's going to be a hybrid event, both online and in person. And I would encourage everyone to share it with everyone that you know. I put the website in there. It's unlockingbarrierssc.org. It has where you register in it. It has information about the event and allows you to be an active part. We always say all of us are here for a reason. They're the barriers that all of the people that we serve mention. And so when we come together to show that we have allyship for the people that we serve, it has a large impact. It says that we're all here together and we're all in it together. And when we work together, that's how we make a difference to unlocking those barriers and making South Carolina more accessible, inclusive, and diverse. And so I would share that with y'all so you can pass it on and Daniel can put it in the notes so that people have that information and can share it with the folks they know too. Thanks, Daniel.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dory. And that those are great reminders that I'm excited about that event on April the 13th. And I will get all of this together. You might have seen a few monthly newsletters coming out a few months ago. We've been kind of on hiatus, and that's my fault for not getting that out more consistently. But I'll take all the updates that are shared today and put that in this month's newsletter to send out to everybody. So thank you. Who else would like to go? Are there what other announcements are out there?
I wanted to mention something really quick. This is Ernie Glover with the Lighthouse for the Blind in Somerville, South Carolina. Just letting you know, we are actually having, our organization is having a job fair, virtual job fair for April 7th. And it's going to be, we're actually looking for individuals who are blind, totally blind, legally blind, or blind with other disabilities for hiring here at our facility for production workers. We are expanding, and so April 7th will be the time that they can come online and actually have an opportunity to speak to the leadership here, out of Seattle, because we're based out of Seattle, but we have our location in Somerville, South Carolina as well. So they're going to be interviewing and talking to individuals for all the locations that we're hiring for.
Awesome. That sounds great, Ernest. People need to register for that event?
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'm gonna be on a meeting with them this afternoon at 1 o'clock. I'll get a link and everything, and I'll send that over to you so you can send to the entire group in case they know anyone that might want to apply for it.
That would be great. Thank you, Ernest.
No problem.
Hey, Daniel, it's Brooks with ABVI. I just want to piggyback a little bit off Ernest. We've had a great partnership with the Lighthouse for years, and we can provide a little bit of computer training, assistive technology, mobility to prepare any individuals that are interested in working at the Lighthouse, to help with resume building. Again, we've had a fantastic partnership. I think this is coming up on 6 years maybe now. Since our first hire. Ernest, I could be off a year or two maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're about to be 6 years next month.
So, and we've had great success. So if you have anyone that might need some further training to feel a little bit more secure and confident going into that interview, we are happy to provide that.
Awesome. Thank you, Brooks. We can include that in the announcement about the event and link over to your contact information for help there.
That'd be great. And then we have hired a new occupational therapist, and he is starting to go more in the home, as well as our mobility specialists. Now that we're kind of, I don't want to say anything to COVID related to put us back in where we were, but now that we're coming out on a different side, I guess I'll say,
there we go.
Back into the home, because that is a great need right now. So low vision occupational therapy and orientation and mobility back in the home. And then we also just received some financial assistance to help provide white canes and sunshades to individuals. It is specific to the Tri-County, but if there's anyone in need, please send them our way. And we would happily do a cane fitting or sunshade fitting by one of our specialists.
Wonderful. That's all really encouraging news to hear. And yes, it is exciting to be transitioning to a different phase of the pandemic. I like that phrasing. All right, I think Rhonda or Annie, do y'all have any updates from your organizations that you'd like to share?
I can share. We don't have any specific large updates at operations site. We've just been chugging along. I will say that I think that we are having a large influx of new applicants, more than I've seen recently. I think I'm getting probably 2 to 3 calls a day, which is a lot more than what we're used to seeing. So, but other than that, we don't have anything too big on our docket. Our fiscal year ends in June, so we're working on grants and things like that. I think the main update is just I've seen an increase in need for assistance with cataract surgery. So
Definitely.
And thank you, Daniel. I can echo what Annie said. We're steadily seeing an increase. Speaking from the prevention of blindness standpoint, we're excited though, just this week actually started on Thursday, we have a new prevention of blindness coordinator. So I worked with her yesterday in Columbia, had some training taking place, and she will continue the next couple of weeks. I've been working directly with cases, and so I just thank those partners out there when we can't, based on our policy, serve them. I think, Lions Vision Services and others, Operation Sight, Servants for Sight for what they do. Y'all are phenomenal. But so on the POB front, as I say, we have the new individual, and stay tuned, because as the months unfold, we look to expanding. I say what's old is new again, because as some of you may recall, our prevention program was quite large a number of years ago, prior to the economic recession, and then we're building it back. Let me just say, so we look forward to helping with so many other sight-saving measures. Our primary focus recently has been on cataracts, retinal detachments, and just some basic eye care. But we gradually open that door. So, and of course, it's the one program at the agency that the individual has to. We measure their eligibility by the financial needs guidelines. So there's that process, but we're really excited about what we've been doing and some things that's in the works. So
awesome, that's wonderful, Rhonda. Always exciting to hear about expansion and new services, and congratulations on your new prevention of blindness coordinator. That's so exciting to hear.
Thank you, Daniel. And with that expansion now, again, don't want to speak too soon, but as the program does expand, there'll be more of those coordinators on board, because it will take a lot of hands with the anticipated referrals. So we're looking forward to that. We'll keep you posted for sure.
Wonderful. Let's see, I got a text from Virginia Ann. Virginia, I'm going to ask if to unmute through Zoom here and see if that helps. I'm sorry that you weren't able to speak up earlier. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
I can. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm having all kind of technical difficulties today, but I did hear everything that's been going on today, and it's a very interesting meeting. I am Virginia Ann Mulliken, and I'm with the South Carolina Free Clinic Association. And I hope most of you know that we do have 38 clinics across the state, and about 70 different locations that provide medical care and lots of dental as well for people who do not have health insurance. And so I know that a lot of our clinics have worked with many of these organizations, and we appreciate it so much to help get surgeries, eye surgeries, and that kind of thing. So many of our patients have diabetes, and so we're always worried about, having all the eye exams and getting their treatment. So thank you for everything that y'all do. And we're looking forward to working more closely with you. And we're excited about the grant with the Cluster Shield as well. So thank you very much. And sorry, I'm having some little difficulties today.
No problem at all. Thank you, Virginia Ann. And we're delighted to have you part of our coalition here. And we're excited to continue working with you. So thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Two quick announcements from Lions Vision Services. We've got the annual Santee Blind Fishing Weekend that is coming back. That will be Friday, April the 22nd and Saturday, April the 23rd. The fishing will take place on that Saturday, April the 23rd in Santee, South Carolina. We really appreciate the Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired, as well as the National Federation of the Blind, helping to get the word out to their clients and members about this event. We've got about 40 attendees that we're anticipating right now, and the final deadline for applications is April the 8th. Yesterday was the deadline for applicants needing hotel reservations because we had to make those in advance. But if others are interested and don't need to spend the night, and we could probably work out something on a case-by-case basis if we get one or two more in soon based on availability of other rooms. So we're really excited to bring that event back for its 30th year. And I found out recently that the Lions Clubs of South Carolina are going to be having their first Lions Day at the State House on Thursday, April the 28th. So we will be at the State House with our Lions Club partners, talking about the great work that Lions Clubs are doing in South Carolina. This is the 100th anniversary of Lions Clubs coming to South Carolina. There are 5 clubs: Orangeburg, Greenville, Spartanburg, Columbia, and Anderson, that are all celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. So very excited about that milestone and look forward to celebrating that at the State House on April the 28th. So that's some news from us. And Again, we'll get all this compiled to share in our monthly newsletter this month, and we'll get that resumed. I really appreciate everyone's time. I know we're at the end of our schedule today. So we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday, June the 22nd for our next meeting. And stay tuned for more announcements on committee work and other ways we can collaborate in the weeks ahead. Thank you, everybody. Take care and have a great day.